From Neural Newscast, this is Nerfed, where games, culture, and strategy intersect.
Nerfed, Fortnite Overdrive, and the Netflix studio purge. I am Vanessa Calderon.
And I'm Marcus Shaw. We are hitting that late August sprint where the news just refuses to cool down. Every time we think the industry is going to take a breath before the massive fall release window, something else drops that shifts the entire landscape. We have everything from massive tactical pivots at Netflix to some of the most bizarre military recruitment strategies I have ever seen in my life.
Seriously, Marcus, between Fortnite basically legally distinctly trolling Nintendo and Netflix deciding they're suddenly too cool for indie darlings, my head is spinning. It is a chaotic time to be a developer, but a fascinating time to be a spectator. The sheer velocity of these announcements is catching everyone off guard, and the implications for the holiday season are starting to look very different than they did just a month ago.
It's a lot. We're also talking about the U.S. Army trying to use GTA 6 as a recruitment tool, which is a choice. It really highlights how deep Grand Theft Auto has permeated the cultural zeitgeist, when even the Department of Defense is looking at launch dates to plan their re-enlistment incentives. We have a packed schedule, so let's get into it.
Starting with Fortnite Overdrive, which kicked off yesterday, this season is gaming legends themed, but with a twist. Instead of just dumping 100 licensed skins in the Battle Pass, Epic went the 32-bit parody route. They are really leaning into this retro future aesthetic that feels like a love letter to the era of unlicensed knockoffs. Marcus, the trailer is incredible, but the names? Hilarious. It feels like they are seeing just how close they can get to the line without crossing into a courtroom.
Oh, they are lean and mean with the lawyers, Vanessa. We've got Bastion, who is definitely not Link, despite the green tunic and the very familiar-looking shield. Then there is Kitty Wins in a very familiar-looking cart that looks like it belongs on a rainbow road somewhere. And Wixel for the block building crowd, which is a clear nod to Minecraft, but with that distinctive Fortnite edge. But the real star is the actual Sonic the Hedgehog. Sort of. It is the only fully licensed character that isn't a parody, yet they still found a way to make it weird.
Right, because according to the lore drop IGN reported on, it's not the real Sonic. It's a Robo-Sonic android imbued with his biodata. Apparently, that's the canonical reason why Sega is okay with him holding a shotgun and participating in the Battle Royale. It is a clever workaround. It preserves the brand integrity of the blue blur while allowing Epic to give the fans what they want, which is a high-speed hedgehog with heavy weaponry. It's absurd, but in the world of Fortnite, it makes perfect sense.
Exactly. No one wants to see the real Sonic doing the Griddy after a headshot. The whole season is framed as bad guy Gino hacking reality with cheat codes and replacing the 0 point with a giant game cartridge. It's pure 90s nostalgia bait. And honestly, I'm biting. The new map locations look like they were pulled straight off a Super Nintendo circuit board. And the gameplay modifiers for this season include things like pixelated gravity and CRT screen filters that you can toggle. It is a masterclass in themed execution.
It's fun energy, but we have to shift to some seriously questionable industry moves. Netflix just pulled the plug on Night School Studio. This is the team behind Oxenfree and that new horror title Unhinged, which literally just launched 6 weeks ago. To see a studio shuttered so quickly after a major release is jarring. It sends a chilling message to other creators under the Netflix Games umbrella about what constitutes success and how much time they actually have to find an audience.
It's baffling. Bloody Disgusting noted that Netflix is also closing Moonloot in Helsinki, a studio that hadn't even released a game yet. They were working on a high-concept RPG that sounded very promising. A representative said they're pivoting to kids gaming, party games, and story-driven fare for mainstream audiences. It feels like they are moving away from the prestige indie titles that initially gave their gaming service credibility and moving toward lower-risk mass-market content that prioritizes quantity over artistic depth.
which is corporate speak for we don't want to make weird, cool art anymore. Night School was such a centerpiece for their gaming push when they bought them in 2021. Shutting them down right after Unhinged drops, starring Sadie Sink and Zoe Kravitz no less, is just cold. You have big-name talent, a proven development team, and a critical hit, and yet it still wasn't enough to save them. It makes you wonder what the long-term plan is for their internal development if they are this quick to pull the trigger.
It really highlights the volatility of these big tech companies jumping into gaming. One minute you're the crown jewel, the next you're a line item that doesn't fit the party game quota. It's a huge loss for the narrative adventure space. We have seen this before with Google and Amazon, where the initial excitement leads to massive acquisitions, followed by a total retreat when the numbers don't immediately look like a viral sensation. It is a tough pill to swallow for the developers who put their lives into these projects.
Speaking of volatility, let's talk about D23. Kingdom Hearts 4 finally has a window, late 2027. Marcus, that feels like a lifetime away, but Tetsuya Nomura is already out here playing defense against delay rumors. He knows the fans are anxious, especially since the gap between the third and fourth entries is stretching out to be quite significant. But the footage we saw suggests they are taking the time to truly reinvent the feel of the franchise for this current generation of hardware.
Nomura basically told fans at the Deep Dive panel that the 2027 date is not happening to be pushed back. He's setting the record straight early because he knows the history of Square Enix development cycles. We saw a new trailer with the Land of the Dead from Coco, and Sora looks more photorealistic than ever in Quadratum. The contrast between the vibrant Disney worlds and the stark, grounded reality of the new hub world is striking. It is clear they are pushing the Unreal Engine 5 to its absolute limits here.
And there's a Disney Plus anime series coming too, which should help bridge the gap for fans who need their fix before 2027. But the real D23 shocker was Matt Groening accidentally leaking that The Simpsons Hit and Run is coming back in some form. The showrunner, Matt Selman, immediately tried to backpedal with a, or not, but the internet heard him, Marcus. The slip-up was so specific that it has ignited a firestorm of speculation about whether we are looking at a full remake or just a modern port.
The 23-year drought might finally be ending. Whether it's a remaster or a remake, people have been screaming for this for decades. It's basically GTA for kids, which ironically brings us to the actual GTA 6 news. The demand for Hit and Run has always been about that open-world freedom mixed with the humor of Springfield, and seeing it return in a modern engine would be a massive win for nostalgia-focused gamers. But the real heavyweight in the open-world category is making headlines for a very different reason today.
This is the only in 2026 story. A U.S. Army battalion in Georgia is reportedly offering soldiers a 4-day pass to play GTA 6 this November if they re-enlist. Marcus, please tell me this is a fever dream. It sounds like a satirical headline from the game itself, yet here we are. It shows just how desperate the military is to reach a younger demographic that they are literally using the most anticipated game of the decade as a bargaining chip for years of service.
It's apparently real, Vanessa. A flyer from the 9th Engineer Battalion at Fort Stewart has been circulating, and it has been verified by several military news outlets. If you sign a new contract between now and mid-November, you get the pass for the launch window of November 20th to 23rd. They are calling it the Vice City deployment. It is a wild incentive, but when you consider that recruitment targets are harder and harder to hit, using a cultural phenomenon like this isn't the worst strategy from a purely tactical standpoint.
Nothing says continued dedication to the service like being bribed with a trip to virtual Vice City. I guess when you're projecting a $5 billion launch week, even the military wants a piece of the hype. It really puts into perspective the scale of what Rockstar is about to release. We are talking about a game that is influencing government policy and military leave schedules before it even hits the shelves. The economic impact alone is going to be something for the history books.
And don't forget, Netflix, despite closing studios, is still hosting that extended look at GTA 6 on August 27th. It's going to be a massive stream, potentially showing off proper mechanics and UI for the first time. They are trying to remain relevant in the gaming conversation by latching on to the biggest IP in the world, even as they trim their own internal development teams. It is a strange dichotomy of cutting costs on one hand and spending big on marketing partnerships on the other.
We'll definitely be covering that. Before we go, a quick nod to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. The beta starts today, August 21st, and for the first time ever, it actually includes a single-player campaign mission called Entrenched. This is a huge departure from the traditional multiplayer-focused betas we have seen for the last 15 years. It gives players a chance to see the cinematic direction of the story before they commit to the competitive grind. And early reports say the scale is massive.
That's a huge shift from the usual multiplayer-only tests. If you're a pre-order holder on PC, PS5, or Xbox, you can jump in right now. It's a busy weekend for the shooters, and with the industry moving this fast, you won't want to miss a second of it. For the latest updates, head over to Nerfed.ai. Thanks for listening to Nerfed. I'm Marcus Shaw.
Busy is an understatement. From legally distinct carts to military-grade GTA incentives, the velocity is high. I am Vanessa Calderon.
Neural Newscast is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. View our AI transparency policy at neuralnewscast.com. Thanks for listening to Nerfed.
This has been Nerfed on Neural Newscast, where games, culture, and strategy intersect.